having trouble trying to sleep. I'm counting sheep but running out. As time ticks by, still I try. No rest for cross-ups in my mind. On my own, here we go. My eyes feel like they're gonna bleed. Right up in bulging out my skull. Mouth's dry. Face is numb. Fucked up and spun out in my room. On my own, here we go. Mindset on overdrive. The clock is laughing in my face. Crooked spine. My senses dull. That's the point of delirium. On my own, here we go. I feel like they're gonna bleed. Right up and bulging out my skull. My mouth's dry. Face is numb. Fucked up and spun out in my room. On my own, here we go.
Hello, this is Godzilla here, and welcome to another Godzilla Month video. And today we are doing the Kaiju Toku era review for Godzilla Month. This is the modern era from 2013 to present day or future day. I'll probably do like a part 2 to this. I'll probably do like a part 2 to the modern era, discussing the other films, the other projects like Monarch Legacy and Monsters, Supernova, and Minus Zero. I might do a part 2 to this one, like in the future, probably like sometime whenever Minus Zero comes out and Supernova comes out. I'll probably do like a part 2 to this whenever that comes out, probably in the future. But here we go. We're gonna start it off with what started it all, Pacific Rim. Okay, I know this is technically not part. This is not part of the same era, and it's technically not part of the Monsterverse, but technically kickstarted the era and technically made Kaiju's relevant again, and does have a certain point that it it did make Kaiju's relevant. If it wasn't for Pacific Rim, we wouldn't have Godzilla 2014. And and if you watch Pacific Rim, there are a lot of similarities between Godzilla 2014 and Pacific Rim. So, eh, it counts. Even though I do think Pacific Rim's probably a better film than 2014, but yeah, that's just me. Let's talk about Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim, I do really do enjoy Beckett. We do enjoy the cast. Uh, Beckett, Riley, Beckett, pretty much the whole cast I do enjoy. They're really cool. They really work off each other, and it's really interesting to see how they work off each other. I think my favorite character of the cast was movie. I forgot. Yeah. We got Newton, Molly Beckett, Mako, Moy, Marshall Stinker, Marshall, uh, Doctor got to be got to be got. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. Cannibal Chow, Chow Kenson, Gibbs. Is it Gipsy Danger AI? Didn't know it's didn't know what's with Gipsy Danger AI. I don't know what that's about. Hal Kenson and Chuck Henson. He knows what the main cast, but that's pretty much the main cast. But it's pretty much main cast. The rest of them are just pretty much supporting characters who pretty much die off, and some characters I pretty much don't recognize at all. But I think the main focus is on Vi Beckett and Makamoy and Marshall Stanford's character bond, and a little bit. Well, actually, they all work off each other. I do really do enjoy the cast. It's probably a well put together cast, even though there are like pretty much 8 people to this cast. Now that I think about it, because 8 people who actually got lines, besides like maybe a couple of supporting characters who got lines. Now that I think about it, not a lot of people talk throughout this movie. I think I think like Beckett also had a brother, I think, a twin brother who had a line. I'm not sure if that was actually White Beckett's brother who had a line. I have no idea. Or if it's just like a clone. I don't know. But I do really enjoy the cast for Pacific Rim. It's pretty interesting. And the kaiju fights are awesome. They're pretty awesome. You feel the slow movement of the kaijus and the slow movement. And you feel the weight of each hit between Jaegers and the kaiju. And it's pretty cool to see, and it's awesome. That's probably the best parts of the movie. Even though the human scenes are pretty cool and keep you entertained. I really do enjoy Pacific Rim. It's pretty cool. It's an outstanding movie. I do think it's probably one of the best out the modern era. I think it's probably my favorite out of the modern era. I really do enjoy Pacific Rim. I wish I can cross over with Monsters, but that's probably not going to happen due to its sequel. Yeah, it's goddamn sequel. I'll get to that eventually, but in this review. But yeah, that sequel is yeah, something else. So what do I rate this one? Probably a 10 out of 10. I really do enjoy this one. I do think it's probably one of the best monster. Probably one of the best out of the modern era. I do think it's really good. So it's 10 out of 10. It's really good. And then we move to G14, which I have a love and hate relationship with this movie. There was a point where I really loved this movie, then it almost went down to an F. It legit almost went down to an F. At one point, it was an A, and then it went to B, then it went to C, then D, and it was almost an F. But after watching the Wingard films and the Skull Island anime and what the monster has become after King of the Monsters, yeah, you know what? I think this one's not as bad as I thought it was. Yeah, you know what? It's pretty good. I don't get me wrong. The supporting cast is not really that memorable, or any of the cast is memorable besides a handful of cameos like Admiral Spence, Dr. Sozawa, Sir Grant, and the Brodies, Joe Brody and Ford Brody. Like the well, maybe not Ford Brody because Ford Brody is just dull to listen to, and I don't care for what Ford Brody has to say because you can tell he is not entertained with that movie, and he is not entertained with his role. He is not entertained with his role or gives a fuck about what he's doing. He just doesn't look like he cares. He does not look like cares for his role. Like, I understand he is trying, but he pulled off better roles with Quicksilver's. Like the next year, he did a better role with Quicksilver than this movie. Like seriously, and you can tell he's had better roles. I know I don't know all his roles, but I know he's had better roles than this. Like he's just pulling off a dull supplies and this blank expression this entire movie, and we had to follow him throughout the entire movie. Why couldn't we follow Joe Brody? Ugh, yeah. But besides that, I don't really hate the movie. It's pretty good. I do like the grounded tone that it had and how grounded it was and how you felt the perspectives. Like the scenes with the monsters are pretty intense and are pretty scary. Like the Mutos. I know a lot of people don't really like the Mutos because they take up most of the screen time, but I actually didn't mind it because the Mutos had a pretty good presence on screen. Like they were really scary, especially that train scene because that train scene was pretty terrifying, and it's terrifying to see. Imagine like you're in the perspective of the monster and you are being hunted. Yeah, that's pretty terrifying. Yeah, that's pretty terrifying, and I do love the perspectives that they do with the monsters, the monster fights. Like we see a news report of, well, okay, maybe not that. And then there is a little bit of an issue. Like the cutaways are really annoying. Like we see a monster fight, we want Godzilla. Like we see this build up, this whole build up of Godzilla destroying, walking through Hawaii, causing a tsunami. The Muto attacking Honolulu. We see this huge build up. It's so intense, and you know what they do? You see Godzilla roar, and then they cut away. They do this 3 times. Technically 4 if you count the Muto flying away. They do this 3 to 4 times in the movie. And it gets really annoying. It gets really annoying. But I don't mind it as much because at least they try to build up the suspense. I don't know. I do really enjoy this movie, don't get me wrong. I do think it's really good. I do think it's probably, and for what it started, I do think it's you got to give it credit to that because if it wasn't for this movie, we wouldn't have the Weibo era or Shin Godzilla, the anime trilogy, Single Point, or Minus One. We wouldn't have any of those if it wasn't for 2014. Heck, we wouldn't even have a Monsterverse if it wasn't for 2014. Like this movie did insanely well at the box office, and I'm kind of glad this movie did well because it deserves it. And 2014 is probably my favorite. It's probably like my third favorite in the Monsterverse, right next to Kong Skull and King of the Monsters. Yeah, I really do enjoy this movie. It's pretty interesting. It's really good. Yeah, I enjoy it. Uh, 2014 is probably the best of the whole era. Really do enjoy it. Probably the best However, it probably an 8 out of 10. I do think this is also falls at the cutaways and human scene and full Brody. Like I do think that's probably major issues with the movie. And plus, I don't think the other cast, the other part of the Brody family is not really interesting. They really don't interest me. I think the characters that do interest me are Serizawa, Admiral Spence, and uh, Joe Brody and Sarah Grant. Those are the only characters that actually that interest me. Besides them, nothing. This movie is pretty good. I wouldn't put it in my top 10. Probably wouldn't, but it's good. Moving on to Kong Skull Island. Okay, this is probably the second best the Monsterverse has ever been. This is really good. This is a step up from 2014. And it's easy one of the best the Monsterverse has ever been in terms of production, in terms of scale, in terms of everything. Like this movie was hype. I remember the hype for this movie back in 2017, and the hype was real. It was on a whole nother level. A lot of people were hype, even though I would say the trailers for this movie kind of spoil Skull Island, even though I didn't particularly see the trailers for 2014 for Kong Skull Island. I didn't see the trailers for Kong Skull Island. I avoided them like the plague. Like all I saw was pretty much the monster scenes. They pretty much monster scenes. That's pretty much it. That's all I've seen from the trailers. I didn't see like the human scenes from the trailers. I didn't see any of those scenes. So I was pretty much no. I knew what happened. I pretty much went in knowing what went on with the monster scenes when I first saw this movie, and when I saw it recently. Kong Skull Island is pretty good. I really do enjoy it, even though it does have a issue with its figuring out who's the main character. It does have an issue with that because we honestly don't know who to follow. Like we don't have a main character to follow in this movie, like, unless you count um, the World War II veteran guy, whatever his name was. I Yeah, I don't know. I do enjoy the cast; it's pretty good, and I think Colin Squadron had the best human cast out of the Monsterverse, if I'm not mistaken. I do think that's until King of the Monsters. I do think the King of the Monster cast is a little bit better than Kong Squadron. I don't know. Even though it did have, this movie did have John Goodman, Samuel Jackson that probably beats it out King of the Monsters. But I do enjoy the supporting cast for this movie. It's pretty good. I do enjoy it. Kong Squadron is and the monster scenes, especially the skull claws, I really love the skull claws in this movie. They're terrifying and intimidating and really scary and do show signs of intelligence and are really, really scary. And Kong himself is pretty cool, and I do think this is probably my favorite. I do. Second. Like I said, with Kong Skull Island, it's pretty interesting. I do like the human cast, and it's pretty good story. I really do enjoy it, and I do like that Stafford. I think that's his name. I forgot his name. Samuel Jackson's character. I do like his story. He's kind of like the villain of the movie, and he's probably the most interesting character in the movie. I do like all the characters in this movie, like Weasel and the Tracker. And even like the supporting characters, I do enjoy, and I don't want them to die. Yeah, I don't think there's like a single character I want to die. Besides, actually, I don't think there's any characters I want to die in this movie. And you kind of feel the weight when they do die. So yeah, I really do enjoy the cast, and the monsters are pretty interesting, like the buffalo, the bats, Pteranodon bat thingies, um, the centipede, the skull crawlers. I think there's a couple. The daddy long legs, giant squid, Kong. I do enjoy all the characters in this movie. All the monsters are pretty interesting, and the fights up in that fight with Kong and the Skull Devil or Ragnarok, and that's what the fans called her, Ragnarok. Even though I'm pretty sure she's called the Skull Devil, I don't know what her actual name is. I think it's called the Skull Devil or Ragnarok. I call her Ragnarok. Do you enjoy these characters and the monster scenes? It's pretty interesting. On to Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla! Yeah. The official start to the Weiwa era, and it's pretty good. I really do enjoy this one. Oh, Kong Skull Island, 9 out of 10. This one. And Shin Godzilla, I'll probably give it a 9 out of 10 too. Or 9.1 out of 10. I really do enjoy this one, and it's pretty interesting. I really, really enjoy this one. And it's easily, hands down, I do think this movie is better than 2014. I do think it is. I think it's better than 98. I do think it's better than a lot of the most of the way except for -1. Excluding -1, it's better than most of the way. And the Monsterverse, because this movie is so interesting. I do like what they talk about with the politics. Like the politics just come off as stupid, which is kind of the point because of them going through red tape and making idiotic decisions and not thinking before they act. I really do enjoy that. And then them trying to work together and trying to come up with a plan to defeat Godzilla while also going through some red tape is pretty interesting. I really do enjoy that. And Shin Godzilla himself, besides Kamata-kun, Shinigami-kun, and Tail-kun, does that first form even have a name? I think it's just called first form. I don't think it has an actual name. I think I just call it Tail-kun. Tail-kun. Yeah, we don't even see the first form. Obviously, it's tail and part of its back. That's about it. That's all we see of the first form, and a little bit of its eye. That's about it. That's all we see of that first form. It's just its back, tail, and eye. That's all we see of that first form. So yeah. And then we got Kamata-kun, which is adorable and ugly at the same time. Same thing with Shinigami-kun, adorable and ugly at the same time. Yeah. They are pretty interesting, and I really do enjoy them. And Shin Godzilla fourth form is pretty interesting, and it's also noted that he has a fifth form that's seen at the end of the movie, which is pretty much these humanoids coming out of Godzilla's tail. And if you look up emotional, there's pretty much a mouth forming at the end, pretty much signifying that there's another Godzilla, like a bigger Godzilla, going to come out. Yeah, I really do enjoy that. What I think of the movie, it's pretty interesting. I really do enjoy it. I love this movie. I think I watch this a lot, and fun fact, my mom hates this movie. She hates this movie a lot. She hates this movie more than Godzilla's Revenge. This is pretty much her least favorite Godzilla movie. She does not like this one. She did not like this one at all, which I find funny, and I kind of joke with her about Shin Godzilla a lot. It's my inside joke with my mom. Shin Godzilla. I like to joke with her a lot. This movie and just tease her about this movie. She's not gonna like it when she has to watch that movie again. But I really do enjoy Shin Godzilla. It's pretty interesting. I do like Mando Gucci and the rest of the cast and Brady. And I really do enjoy the cast. So with that said, that's the anime trilogy. Fuck. Yeah, the anime trilogy is where the Whale era gets most of its hate from. Is pretty much the anime trilogy in general. That's where the Whale era gets most of its hate from. Is the anime trilogy. Me personally, I don't. I watched it for a second time. Was that the third time? I had watched it twice when these movies first came out, and then watched it again, um, and then watched it again years later. And all I can say is, yeah, I have mixed feelings on these movies. On the one hand, they're bad and they're not put, made well. But the first movie I really do enjoy. It has some redeeming qualities, even though a lot of characters are really annoying and really forgettable and don't do much. Like a lot of characters don't really do much. Like they don't do anything. They just stand around, talk about science, talk about what they're gonna do, how they're gonna stop Godzilla, and we never see that until like the climax. So like pretty much the end of the movie. I really don't care for these characters. Like they are really, really unlikable. Like I don't care for them, and a lot of them are really unlockable. I think the only character that I actually care for in the first movie is pretty much Mephiles. That's pretty much it. Just Mephiles. Yeah, I honestly I actually care more about his character more than any other character in this movie. Just Mephiles is pretty much holds this movie alone. I think Haro is a forgettable, is an unlikable character. Like he never learns from his mistakes in this movie, and and you expect me to follow him, and he's mad at Godzilla because he took his family. He took thousands of people's family and thousands of people's lives. He killed so many people that we see in the flashback. And you want me to sympathize with him because he took his family? No, I don't care for Hollow. He's not interesting at all. I don't like him. He's forgettable. Granted, the rest of the cast is fine, I guess. I don't know. A lot of them just don't really do much. They just stand around there talking. They really don't do anything. Yeah, they might help fight the Serlon, but they really don't. They really don't do anything. Like they don't. What did they do? They really don't do much. Like Yuko doesn't really do anything. Like, and the rest of these people don't really do anything. Yuko doesn't do anything. The other alien groups don't do anything. Like Captain doesn't do anything. They really don't do anything but just stand around and talk about what they're gonna do. Science mumbo jumbo. They're gonna try to get back to Earth and try it because they couldn't find a new home world. They couldn't. They really don't do much. They just don't. And I don't think these characters are interesting at all. I don't care less about these characters. Like these characters don't do much. I really don't like them. Anyway, moving on to the next character. Anyway, we move on to City on the Edge of Battle, and yeah, what do I think of these Planet of the Monsters? I'll give like a 6 out of 10, maybe. City on the Edge of Battle, fucking 1 out of 10. At least, oh my god, at least at least Planet of the Monsters had some redeeming qualities and has some interesting scenes. City on the Edge of Battle is just City on the Edge of boredom. I am so bored trying to stay awake, just trying to watch this film. I am so bored of this film. Nothing happens. It's an hour of nothingness. I honestly couldn't care less for Mechagodzilla Silly. Oh yeah, Mechagodzilla Silly. He's a city now. They turned Mechagodzilla into a fucking city, even though we in the last movie we actually had the Mechagodzilla design. They actually showed off the Mechagodzilla design. So why couldn't we see Mechagodzilla in his full glory? Was it because the animators thought it was too hard to pull off? Bullshit, it was too hard to pull off. Oh god, this movie makes no sense. Like, the characters are unlikable. They get more annoying. Like, there's honestly no characters that I care for other than Memphis and the Shobigen. Like, there's in the hotel I care for because at least they're interesting and have an interesting backstory. The Shobigen I care for, Memphis I care for, but the rest of the cast I honestly couldn't care less for. They don't do anything throughout the entire movie. They're just standing around, setting up the next plan to fight Godzilla, who, oh yeah, from last movie, pretty much wiped out the entire base because the original Godzilla grew in size, and the one that they killed wasn't even the real Godzilla, which was Godzilla Phileas, who was like 50 meters, and this Godzilla was like what 322 meters or 300 meters or whatever you want to have how tall he is. I'm pretty sure he's 322 meters. If you look at the stat sheet, that's the stats that say right there on the thing. It says 322 meters, it but the officials call it 300 meters. I don't know what his height is. It's either 322 meters, 318 meters, or 300 meters, whatever you want to say. We'll just go with 300 meters for now because I think that's what most people go for. So a 300-meter Godzilla. Yeah, he's the biggest Godzilla. Cool. How interesting is it? He does. Okay, granted, he did some cool stuff in Planet of the Monsters, like the short. That scene was pretty cool. And what did he do next? Have him sleep throughout the entire movie until the climax. Way to go! You have him sleep throughout the entire movie until the climax. You do nothing with him. Why couldn't this movie just have them fight Godzilla? He doesn't do anything throughout the entire movie. He just sleeps, and that's about it. Like, is he just taking a nap? Is he not waking up? Are we going by Ebba or the Deep logic where he is sleeping? No. This is. It doesn't help that the design doesn't really look interesting. It just pretty much looks like the Monsterverse Godzilla design. It really just looks like the Monsterverse Godzilla design, just tweaked a little bit. It's pretty much all it is. And now the only difference is that it's a plant. Like they made the door space all made plants. It doesn't really look interesting at all. I honestly could care less for this design. And Plan the Monster and Sitting on the Edge of Battle was just boring as hell. And we got Mechagodzilla City, who's a city. He's big, he's massive, cool, but it's not an actual kaiju. And we actually see Godzilla fight Mechagodzilla City. How cool that is! Yay! Mechagodzilla City has harpoons, cool. He's got sword falcons, cool. I don't care. He's not interesting at all. I don't care for this Mechagodzilla City. It's not interesting. I don't care. How could you make Mechagodzilla City interesting? You don't. It's I don't. I I don't care for Mechagodzilla City. He's probably the worst Mechagodzilla design that we had so far. Easily the worst. Probably the worst Mechagodzilla that we've had. Like there is absolutely no Mechagodzilla worse in this one. I just hate it. I absolutely hate it. It's a pretty bad design. And if you look at the actual design that they were going to use, it's a bunch of spikes put into a Mechagodzilla, and it's Mechagodzilla. It's just we never got to see the design in action, except unless you count the Godzilla vs Mechagodzilla MND animation, which is pretty cool. That's about it. But we never saw the design in action, and this is what we get. Oh my god. Who in my and also who in the right mind decided to market Mechagodzilla like he was actually going to be in a movie, like he was actually going to be part of the movie and have him be on all the posters and market him like he was going to be in a movie, like he was going to have a big present and he was just going to. And it turns out he's just Mechagodzilla City. Who in the right mind market that? That is a marketing nightmare, and that's just stupid. Stupid. I don't care for this movie. It's bad. It's arguably one of the worst Finance to Godzilla's Revenge. Easily one of the worst Godzilla films ever made. It's second to only Godzilla's Revenge. It's second only to Godzilla's Revenge. It's second only to that film. Yeah, that's about it. Next, Planet Eater, the trilogy's climax. You left with a disappointing sequel, disappointing an underwhelming beginning, which was good, had some decent moments, but it was overall just okay. A disappointing sequel, which was bad in every way. And Planet Eater, okay, I actually like this one. I don't know why. I think it's weird, and I kind of like it for it. I don't know why I like Planet Eater. I think it's weird and one of the most bizarre Godzilla movies I've ever seen. I think it's a weird and bizarre Godzilla movie, and I feel like I'm on drugs when watching this movie. I actually like Planet Eater. It's pretty good. I don't know what they were doing and what made them decide to get their heads out of their ass and actually pull off a decent movie. I actually do like this one. It's pretty interesting, and I actually care for it. I think my only issue with this film is pretty much the ending, as with Hollow killing himself, not letting go of his anger. That's pretty much it. That's the only That's the only reason I don't like this movie. That's the only nitpick I have. Besides that, I actually do enjoy this movie. It's pretty good. I'll probably give this one like a 7 out of 10. Probably. I actually do enjoy this movie. It's pretty good. I actually do enjoy it. I wouldn't put it in my top 20 or anything, but I actually do enjoy it. It's pretty good. I really like this one. it's probably interesting. It's probably the best movie. And don't get me wrong, am I disappointed that Ghidorah is pretty much a noodle? Not really. He does some pretty cool stuff, and I do like his abilities. And he's massive. He's pretty cool. Granted, the fight's not as good. It's not good at all, but it's Alpha's there, and she's just pretty much cameo. Yay! This movie does have issues, but it's not as bad as the other ones. I actually do care for what happens in this movie. I actually like this movie, and it's actually pretty entertaining. And I actually care for what happens in this movie, even though pretty much the whole cast has been killed off, like, in this movie. They kill off the entire ship. Everybody on the ship is pretty much dead. Um, and I'm not sure how much humans are left on the planet, and we don't even know how they come back at the end of the movie. Ghidorah is pretty much fights Godzilla for like a good 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes, and then is killed off by Godzilla, and then Hollow sacrifices himself to make sure Ghidorah doesn't come back. So, yeah, okay. Memphis also dies, which is also pretty sad. I actually did care for his character in these past two films. Like, he was the only character that looked like he gave a damn about his duel, besides Shorbajin. Like, I actually kind of sad that Memphis dies in this movie. May rest in peace, Memphis. Yeah. But City Hunter Battle is pretty interesting. Not City Hunter Battle. Planet Eater, City Hunter Battle is garbage, but Planet Eater is actually pretty interesting. The Planet Eater is probably the best out of the anime trilogy, and it's probably I actually do enjoy this one. It's not as bad. Next, we move on to Pacific Rim Uprising. Yeah, I don't like Pacific Rim Uprising, mostly because of the people who pirate the Jaegers. Remember how in the last Pacific Rim movie that all the Jaeger pilots were adults, and all of them had to go through some training and were pretty interesting. Yeah, let's just put kids in the pirates. You know what? Let's just put kids and have kids pirate some Jaegers. That'll be interesting, right? Let's have kids pirate Jaegers. And what in the right mindset were the developers of these movies thinking? Did they even not watch the last Pacific Rim movie? I'm pretty sure all those pirates were adults. They were all adults who were pirating Jaegers. Yes, they might have had some training about pirating a Jaeger as a teenager. Like, they probably went through some training as a teenager, but when they started pirating a Jaeger, they were adults. They were adults. Now we're having kids pirate Jaegers. Okay, cool. How interesting is that? We have a new gen. It pretty much just feels like a new gen. It just feels like a new gen. It feels like I'm watching a new gen anime, like one of those bad new gen animes that try to pull you in and then it just sort of lets you go after like the first couple episodes. And that's what it feels like I'm watching. Feels like I'm watching a new gen anime called Pacific Rim Uprising. That feels like what I'm watching when I'm watching this movie. A new gen anime called Pacific Rim Uprising. Because they try to follow the new generation and try to make you, hey, let's follow the new gen. Let's follow the new gen kids. Yeah. And then when we actually do follow them, they're pretty much terrible. I honestly could care less for these kids. All these kids are forgettable and all of them are annoying, and I honestly could care less for them. Like, besides the girl who builds a Jaeger pilot, who builds her own Jaeger, that's the only kid I actually care for in this movie. because she actually has been doing qualities that's actually interesting, and maybe the son of the marshal. That's pretty much the only characters I care for. No one is interesting. Like they brought back Mako, but they kill him. They kill her off. But we don't know if these. I'm just going under the theory that she's not dead and that she actually managed to survive the explosion because we don't see her body and we don't know. Maybe she managed to jump out of the helicopter and she survived the helicopter crash. I don't know. She might have survived. We don't know. We don't actually see her body. We don't. We don't even get a time to mourn for her. We don't actually see her body, so we don't know. She could have survived the helicopter crash. I don't know. Macau could still be alive. We don't know. I don't know. Maybe hoping that Final Breach Street says that Macau's alive. I doubt it, but just give me hope. Ugh. But even if we go by the logic that she's dead, they killed the best character from the last movie, and yeah, great start. And M7 Fury is cool, but it's pretty much the only cool thing about this movie. I do like M7 Fury. He's pretty cool. M7 Fury is probably the only cool thing about this movie. Like the kaijus are not interesting at all. Like none of them look cool, except for maybe the Mega Kaiju. Mega Kaiju is the only thing that kinda looks cool. Like all the kaiju designs just look bland and forgettable and unrecognizable as kaiju. And the Mega Kaiju is probably the only thing that looks cool because they use some plan designs and just make them cool. Apparently, I don't know. Plus, Mega Kaiju is also the biggest kaiju in the verse. It's probably massive, and yeah, okay, cool. That's cool. But Diego's, I honestly don't care for. Saber Athena has a neat design, but you can really tell it's just copying up. It's just copying one of the older Jaeger designs. Bracer Phoenix, don't care. Um, what was the other Jaeger? What was the other Jaeger's name? Chono. I forgot the other Jaegers. I know it's Sabertina, Bracer Phoenix. The Red Jaeger, I forgot his name. I think one of the one of the, I think one of them is called Stormbreaker. Guardian at Bravo. We got Breakfast Phoenix, Guardian Bravo, and Saber Athena. Don't care for any of them. Gave the Avengers all cookie copies of previous Sega designs. So who cares? I honestly could care less. They're just there. A lot of these characters just feel like they're just there. They're just there. I honestly could care less. They're just there for fun. I could care less about these designs. Not interesting at all. Pacific Rim Uprising is just pretty much a disappointing sequel, and I honestly could care less for this movie. It's bad. It's terrible. It should not exist, and it felt like it should have been better because it took 5 years to make. But we got this, and it's terrible. It's a terrible sequel. I could care less for this movie. It's just bad. It's terrible. It's a terrible sequel. The first movie's good. The second movie is just bad. Moving on, the King of the Monsters, and I actually like this one. People applauded this movie at the end. They applauded the movie. Yeah, I actually like this movie, and there were some moments in the movie theater where people were cheering. People like King of the Monsters. Let's make it real, people. People like King of the Monsters. So stop getting on this hate wagon of people who hate this movie. This movie is good, okay? This movie is good. I give it a 9 out of 10. It's good. It's as good as Shin Godzilla. I love this movie. I don't care what other people say. It is a good movie, okay? It's a good movie. Fucking damn it. But Godzilla 2 King of Monsters is pretty good. I really do enjoy the movie. Like all the monsters are pretty interesting. Like Rodan has the coolest scene in the movie. Ghidorah also has the coolest scene in the movie. Morphos has the most beautiful scene in the movie. Godzilla just steals the role, and I do love the Doherty design. It's probably my favorite design. It's probably the best Godzilla's looked in the MonsterVerse. It's probably my favorite design out of the MonsterVerse. I do think after this, like the next two films, pretty much drastically weaken the Dory design. Like to just make it worse. Like they just drastically weaken after this film. Like they make the monsters like they just made it like they're just worse designs. Like the Wind Guard design and the Evolved design are just like the GXK Doherty design is practically the same design, but the CGI just looks worse than did in King of Monsters. And the Evolved Godzilla design, I don't like. I think it's probably the worst Godzilla design. But the Doherty design, I do like. Like the one from 2019, it's pretty interesting. I actually do like this design. It's interesting. And I wish would have kept the design in GVK, but they decided to tweak it a little bit. Yeah, it's still the same design, so I'm glad I was using GVK. But I love King of the Monsters. A lot of these scenes are pretty interesting. The human cast, like the Russell family, Chen, Ben. What's his name? Fuck, what's his name? The villain character, whatever his name was. What was his name? We got Vivian Graham. Come back. We got G Force, and then we got Alan Jonah. Yeah, Alan Jonah. I really do Alan Jonah's character. He's pretty interesting as a villain. The Russell family is pretty good. Mark Russell, Emma Russell, and Madison Russell. I do care for the Russell family. Chan, Sarazawa, Ben. Like the comedy in this movie, I don't mind. I know a lot of people didn't like the tone of this movie and the comedy of this movie and the dialogue of this movie. I didn't mind the dialogue, to be honest. I don't think it's as bad as it was in GVK and GSK. I think the dialogue in those two movies are worse than King of the Monsters. Like, I think the dialogue is way worse in GVK and GSK. I think it's way worse in those two films. And this film is pretty good. It's alright. Like, they do, like, yes, there's some corny dialogue, but they do give you some time to invest in the scenes and actually take a moment to breathe and invest in some scenes. Like, they do give some time. Like, King of Monsters does have a lot of breathtaking scenes in this movie. Has a lot of breathtaking scenes with Ghidorah. Like, Ghidorah's awakening is pretty much terrifying. Like, oh, my Emma Russell just says run, and then ice ruptures, and then Ghidorah awakens, and summons Ilka, and then Ghidorah awakens, and it's pretty much a terrifying scene. Ghidorah is pretty terrifying, and running from Ghidorah is terrifying. And then Godzilla coming out of the ice, fighting Ghidorah is awesome. Then the Rodan scene is pretty awesome. We see Rodan fight some jets and then fly over the water, fly over a volcano, fly over water, fly over Mexico City, and pretty much fight some jets, destroy the squadron, and then fights Ghidorah and then gets beaten, and then yeah, and then pretty much the whole movie, it's just the rivalry between Godzilla and Ghidorah. Mothra kinda. Mothra's just sort of. I do like. Okay, I know. Okay. I like the Rodan design in this movie. I like the Ghidorah design. I don't like the Mothra design. I'm sorry. It just does not look like Mothra. It does not look like Mothra to me. Like, it just doesn't look like Mothra. It just doesn't look like Mothra to me. It looks more like a bee than a Mothra. It doesn't look like Mothra to me. I'm sorry. I know there's probably a lot of people who love the Mothra design of King of Monsters and GSK. I'm not one of them. I don't like the Mothra design, and I don't think it's the weakest Mothra design. I still think well, it's not true. I actually do think it's probably the weakest Mothra design, but design wise, I don't like Mothra, but character wise, I do like this Mothra design. I don't know. I have a lot of hate waves with this Mothra design. There's some qualities I do like, and then there's some qualities I don't like with the Mothra design. Like, some of the scenes are pretty cool with Mothra, and it's pretty cool. But then there's some scenes that I don't like with Mothra. Well, no, not really. I don't think there's any scenes I don't like with Mothra. So Mothra does have cool design. I do like Mothra in this movie. My God, I wish they would have done something to make it better. Meh, it's okay. And the monster fight and the battle in Boston is probably the most um, well choreographed battle, and it's pretty intense, and it's probably the best battle in the entire Monsterverse movie. In the entire Monsterverse, because of how insane it gets and how crazy it gets. Yeah, probably my favorite Monsterverse battle in the movie. In the Monsterverse, I think it's probably my favorite Monsterverse battle. I do like this Monsterverse battle. Probably my favorite. Probably the most intense Monsterverse battle. Yeah. And plus, Godzilla going burning mode is pretty cool. And this video's not out long. Jesus Christ. Kingdom Monsters is pretty cool, and I do enjoy it. It's probably my favorite out of the Monsterverse. I think it's probably the best Monsterverse has ever been. And I do think this is the last time that the Monsterverse actually felt like the Monsterverse, not including the Monarch show, because I actually do like the Monarch show. But this is the last time that the Monsterverse actually felt like the Monsterverse. Not including the Monarch show, but this is the last time in the Monsterverse films that actually felt like the Monsterverse. So yeah, let's let's move on to because of a single point. Okay, I know this technically came out after GSK, but it was technically supposed to release in 2020, but due to COVID, it got pushed back to 2021. So I'm gonna review that one first because of a single point. I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. I think it's better than the anime trilogy, better than whatever that was, better than the anime trilogy, and I do think it's probably the best cartoon. Probably the best Godzilla cartoon show. I do like it more than Godzilla the series. Even though I do like Godzilla the series, that's nothing to say. That's not saying Godzilla the series is bad. I do like Godzilla the series. I grew up with the series. I remember watching it on DVD, but I do really love like the anime trilogy, like Godzilla Single Point. Like I do like that it makes you think, and I do like that it the characters are pretty interesting, like May and Ven. I think his name is Ven. Jen, Ven, Yoon. I think his name is Yoon. And the rest of the cast like Go Buki, and I actually do care for like cast like Go Taki and Yotaki crew. Like they're pretty interesting. I do care for them. They're pretty interesting. And the rest of the cast, they're kind of just supporting characters. Like we really don't like so much of the cast is just feels like supporting characters. That's probably an issue I have with the show. Like a lot of them really don't get time to shine and just sort of feel like supporting characters and just feel like they get time to shine. They don't get time to shine and just feel like supporting casts and maybe don't really do much. I could probably care. Anyway, I really do enjoy King Single Point. I do like the monster scenes, like all the monsters designs. I know a lot of people don't really like Manda's design or Cumonga or Megalon or Gigan hybrid, the Cumonga thing, or Salunga, or technically it's supposed to be Gabba, but it's clearly supposed to be Salunga. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't really like their designs, but you know what? I like their designs. I care for the designs. The designs look cool. Even Godzilla's forms, which I think he has like what 5 forms in the show. Technically 6 if you count that mule. I actually do like the monsters in this show. They're actually pretty cool. The Jaguar's awesome, and Gears is awesome. Rodan is pretty awesome. You know, he probably takes up a little bit too much of the show. It's a fun time. Like Rodan has a lot of scenes in this movie, and in this anime, he has a lot of the one time of the show. Same thing with Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar does take up a lot of the one time for the show. Like it should have been called Jet Jaguar Single Point. So yeah. Is what it is, I guess. I don't know. Even I do like the science in the show. It makes you think, makes you use your brain, it makes you have to remember your physics class. Makes you have to remember your physics class and what they taught you in physics and science. So yeah, I enjoy the scenes and they're pretty awesome. The science mumbo jumbo didn't bother me that much on my what fourth, fifth viewing. So with that said, I do enjoy the scenes. It's pretty good. I would probably give this like a 9, probably a 10 out of 10. I do enjoy it. It's pretty good. I really do enjoy Ziggo Point. It's probably my favorite anime, Godzilla anime. I really do hope does get a season 2, even though it probably won't. Because sadly, they did not announce anything Godzilla single point related on Godzilla Day. Fuck, I was gonna hold on to that fucking. We are never gonna get a single point season 2, are we? They're never gonna announce anything single point related. Anyway, single point of joy. It's good. It's good. It's great. It's awesome. That's GVK, and I hate GVK. I hate GSK too. GVK, yeah. GVK is probably my least favorite thing from the Monsterverse. Like, oh wait, let me talk. Wait, let me get that. That's GVK. I honestly could care less for. Like when I first saw this movie, I had expectations. I thought it was gonna be the best MonsterVerse movie. I thought it was gonna be better than King of the Monsters. And then when I saw it, I was like, huh, that was huh. I pretty much had the same reaction that many people had to G98 when yeah. I didn't know what to think of this movie when it first came out. Time passed. Saw this movie a couple times. Try to get my thoughts on it. I watched this movie so many times. I think I watched it like 8 times until I finally said, "Yeah, you know what? I don't like this movie." And this honestly gets a 4 out of 10. I honestly could care less. The human cast, forgettable. Like none of the human cast I care for. Like I don't care for any of the casts except for like Jaya. Jaya is the only one that I actually care for. The rest of the cast I could care less for. Like no one in the cast from GVK I care for. Like Jaya is the only one who looks like she's actually giving a damn. Like Jaya is the only character I actually care for in the movie. Like that's the only character I care for. Like Jaya is the only character I care for. Jaya is probably my favorite character in the movie because it kind of looks like she cares about Kong. We actually see her relationship with Kong, and we actually see time with Jaya. We spend time with Jaya. It's the only character I care for this movie. The rest of the cast I could care less for. They're just there. Yeah, I could care less for the characters in this movie. They don't really do much for me. Bernie's, I know a lot of people love Bernie's. He's probably the comic. They love Bernie's because he's funny. No, I find Bernie's annoying as fuck. I don't care for that mother. I don't care for that. I don't like Bernie's. I'm sorry. Bernie's. I'm not a Bernie's fan. And don't get me wrong, I do love me some comedy relief characters, but Bernie just doesn't do it for me. I just find him annoying. He's just annoying for me. I just don't like him at all. He is probably the most obnoxious character in this movie. Like, and Madison Russell returns, but she barely does anything. Mark Russell also returns, barely does anything. The Russells come in this movie. I feel like this was like an easy paycheck for them because they barely do anything in the movie. Like Madison Russell does some stuff, but it's mostly just with Mechagodzilla. That's pretty much it. Um, a lot of cast pretty much doesn't do anything. I could care less for the cast. Don't care much for them. I don't care at all for this entire cast. It's just boring to watch. Yeah, I could care less. Oh yes, Godzilla and Kong. We see them fight 3 times. There's 3 rounds with Godzilla and Kong. Cool. Godzilla wins 2. Kong wins 1. Godzilla's clearly the victor of the rounds and beats Kong. Cool. Godzilla wins. Godzilla wins. He's the determined victor, and I don't care what you people say, but Kong got Mechagodzilla's ass, so that makes technically makes him the villain. That technically makes him the winner of the movie. Like, no, he beat Mechagodzilla, you dumb fucks. He beat Mechagodzilla, not Godzilla, just because he helped Godzilla. Mechagodzilla doesn't make him the winner. No, Godzilla is the winner of this movie. It's clearly you can clearly tell that Godzilla won the fight. Okay, so no, dumb fucks. Godzilla won. Okay, and pretty much manhandle him throughout all 3 fights. Even the second round, Kong barely won that fight. He barely won it. And round 3 is pretty much Godzilla beating the shit out of Kong. Same thing with the second round, first round. It's pretty much, even though it's pretty much over the ocean. I could care less about this movie. Like, none of the scenes are pretty cool. The scenes are cool, don't get me wrong. The fights are cool. The fights are awesome. But the human characters, I could care less for. The human characters is what drags this movie down and what makes this movie terrible. Like, how do you go from the cast of King of the Monsters, which had a really good cast, had a really good human characters, and then you go to GVK? How and why? How do you do that? How do you do that? Okay, GVK is probably the fights with Godzilla and Kong are cool, like the spectacles, but could I at least be entertained with the human cast? Like the only character that I actually care for is Jaya. Why is there only like one character I care for? None of the cast I can gravitate towards. And then we get the and then you have them team up against Mechagodzilla. Oh yeah, Mechagodzilla in this movie. He steals the show. Like he's the main focus of this plot of the movie. Like they have to team up to fight Mechagodzilla. He takes over the movie. Like why? Why do we need Mechagodzilla? We don't need Mechagodzilla to be in this movie. It could have you could have had Godzilla fight Kong. You didn't need to have Mechagodzilla. Is it just because you didn't want one of your monsters to die? You couldn't decide on killing Kong or Godzilla. You should have killed Kong. He should have died. He was gonna die, and then Godzilla and so the fight. No, just no. I could care less for these characters. These characters are annoying. No, I don't care for them. I don't. This is boring. It's just boring. How could the Monsterverse get worse than this? This is probably the low point of the first four Monsterverse, and what we thought was gonna have, and for a while, was what we thought was gonna be the end of the Monsterverse. This pretty much was the end point. We didn't know that we were gonna get a Monsterverse after this. We didn't know. So yeah, that's Pacific Rim the Back. Okay, I enjoyed this one. It's pretty good. I thought it was better than Pacific Rim Uprising. I don't think it's better than Pacific Rim from 2013, but I do think it's pretty good. Don't get me wrong, the story doesn't make sense. Like, what do you mean Kaiju Messiah? That doesn't make any sense. I do think that's a little bit cheesy. I do think that's a little bit cheesy, but I honestly don't care. The human characters are pretty interesting. Like, I actually care for Boy, the kids, and that's pretty much it. I actually do care. And May, I actually care for May. I even yeah, May. I'm not sure what's with May. I don't know why. I don't know why I like May. Hmm. I don't know why. I'm just kidding. But I do like May's character. Probably has the best character. She's probably the best character in the movie, in the show. And apparently May's character, and apparently May is related to the Messiah. Is pretty much related to the cult. Is pretty much related to the cult. And is probably birthed from the cult. Is what I'm getting at. I don't know. She has some relations to the cult. I don't know how. They never really explain it that well. So yeah, and then boy, and then it's pretty much the black, and then pretty much everyone in everyone is trying to get through life in the black, which wants to take all those satellites to Australia, and then yeah, pretty much off from the world because of the breach and the kaiju's. Kaiju's have some interesting designs. I do like their designs. They're pretty cool. But besides that, I could care. The characters are pretty interesting, and we actually care for when characters die in the show. I actually care for when characters die in the show, so yeah, I do like that. It's sad it didn't get a third season because I think this show could have continued. Like we could have expanded on Boy's character, and heck, we could have even gone to like if this were to get a third season, I think we would go on to what goes on in the base. Like we could have find out the dark secrets that happen inside the base and what goes on inside the base and what they've been doing and why they haven't come to rescue us. We could, if they were to do a third season, which they probably won't because this didn't do too well on Netflix. So yeah, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy Pacific Rim Black. I really do like it. 9 out of 10. I do enjoy it. Pacific Rim got 10 out of 10. This one gets 9 out of 10 for me. I really do enjoy it. And then we move on to the next anime on the list, Skull Island. Okay, when I first watched this, I really didn't like it. I really, really didn't like it. I gave it like a 3 out of 10. I thought it was like the worst The Monster of Us that's ever been. I thought this was the worst. I thought this is the worst the Monsterverse has ever been, but you know what? I think it's better than the Red Guard films. Don't get me wrong. The coin dialogue is corny, but you know what? I think it's better than the Red Guard films. Like I think it's better than GVK and GSK. Yeah, I'll go that far. Don't get me wrong, it's still bad. It's still bad. Don't get me wrong. But it's better than the Red Guard films. I do like it more than the Red Guard films because at least it had a Monsterverse. At least this felt like the Monsterverse. It felt like a Monsterverse show, and it felt like it was part of the Monsterverse. And I do think it's better than the Wingard films. It's still bad, don't get me wrong, but at least it did something. At least it gave me something and was interesting. It has some neat aesthetics, like it had some interesting characters. At least it had something. Something's not much, but at least it's something. Like the Kaiju's had some pretty interesting design. The monsters had some pretty interesting designs, and I actually care for what happens in the show, even though some of the coin dialogue does throw me off a little bit. Like it just happens out of nowhere, and then yeah, and then some of the edits are pretty wonky. Like some of the editing in the show was pretty wonky, and I feel like it just feels really badly edited. Like after episode one, like every episode after episode one just feels really badly edited. So yeah, I don't hate it. It's pretty good. I don't hate it as much as the Wingard films. I do think it's better than the Wingard films. So yeah, I'll probably give it like a 5 out of 10. It's probably average when it comes to shows. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. It's just right in the middle. It's mid. It's probably meh. I don't think it's bad. It's better than what G GVK had to offer. So I actually care for the characters. So that's Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I didn't like the first 4 episodes of Monarch Legacy of Monsters when I first saw this. I've only seen it once, mostly because I don't have any way of watching it again. So I'm just going off by memory of what I saw in the show, and you know what? I like it. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think it's probably one of the best the Monsterverse has ever. I do think it felt like the old Monsterverse. Like it felt like it had a grounded tone and felt like the old Monsterverse. What the Monsterverse was before GVK. It had that grounded tone. Like yeah, I actually like this one. Like I care for this movie, and I actually do like this movie. It's pretty good, and I actually do enjoy it. It is one of the best. Wait, I actually do like the show. I do like the Monarch show, and it's pretty interesting. I do care for the characters, and they're interesting, even though I don't remember most of them because it's been a while since I've seen it. After my, I do like, I do like Kurt Russell. What was his name? Kurt Russell. The Russells. I don't remember the names, but they throw the Russells. I think. Yeah, but I do enjoy the characters, and they're pretty interesting. I forgot. I think I forgot the names. Oh, Lee Shaw. I do like Lee Shaw's character, and I thought he was probably the best character in the show. along with what was the name of the Asian lady was the Japanese cast. I do like. I do like the Japanese cast. I don't care much for the hacker. The Monarch personnel I do care for, and pretty much every character I care for in the show. So, I do like it. It's pretty interesting. So, it's okay. It's a really good show. I thought the first 4 episodes were meh. It had a bad beginning, it had a really slow start, interesting middle, and really good ending. I thought the ending was really good. So I do overall enjoy it. So I'll probably give it like an 8 out of 10. I really do enjoy the Monarch show. It was pretty good. And then we move on to -1, which I've probably already done a review on, but I'm going to talk about it again. I really do like -1. I've seen it a couple times. And -1 is probably the best thing out of the Weibo era, and the best thing out of the modern era. Like, this is easily a masterpiece. Like, I was mind blown when I first saw this film, and I'll never forget that movie theater experience when I first saw this film. Like, it was otherworldly. Like, you will never forget that movie theater experience when you first saw -1. It was awesome. I love, and the movie theater was packed. Like, I'm pretty sure every seat was filled in the movie theater I went to. I'm pretty sure every seat was filled. I don't think there was like any seats that weren't filled in the movie theater. In the theater experience I had, like every seat was filled. Like they were all filled. And I really do enjoy this movie. -1 was probably my favorite movie I saw from 2023. It's probably the best movie from 2023. -1 had the most interesting cast: Noiko, Koichi, Cap, Kid, Doc, Akiko, um, Keiko. That's the name. Keiko. I actually care for the cast in the movie. Like, a lot of the cast I actually care for. Like, most of the cast I really love. Like, they're so interesting, and I care for what happens to them. And I do really enjoy them. Like, it's probably the best Godzilla cast that we've ever had. And it's probably one of the best supporting casts, best main leads, best cast overall. And had a really good first and second act. The third act, even the third act, I enjoy, even though it fell off. I do think the third act is still good. Like, I'm so interested in the plan to defeat Godzilla, and the Ginza destruction scene is pretty awesome. Scenes with Godzilla in the water are awesome. When Godzilla's chasing the boat, it's awesome. Like, it's just scary. It's scary, and then the scenes with at the beginning with the Godzilla swords is scary, and then every scene in this movie I love. It's peak. I just love it. It's just awesome. I think this movie is awesome. It's peak. Like, there's nothing what has not already been said about -1 that hasn't been said before. Is one of the best monster it's one of the best Weibo films, and I think it has the best casts. And when I first saw this film, after I finished watching it, I cried. I legit cried. I legit cried to this film. I cried at the end of the movie. I was crying at the end of the movie. Like, I just let it go. I just cried at the end of the movie. I was crying after I first watched this film, and I rarely cry to any film. Like, but like, it made me cry. It just made me cry. It was sad. It was pretty sad. It made me. It just, yeah, because it just felt me with so much emotion. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I love this film. It was pretty good. Nets. And then we move on to the most recent thing out of the Monsterverse. GXK. Uh, I've already went on like a 40-minute rant about GXK. I don't like GXK at all. I don't. Skull King, forgettable. Shimo, the only redeeming quality of this movie. Kong, cool, he's in it, but he's got the beast glove now. Why does he have a beast glove? Does he really need one? Could they just not give him a first aid kit? I don't care for this movie. I could care less about what happens in this movie. Like, this movie is just bad. I think it's the weakest the Monsterverse has ever been. Actually, I think it's better than GX GVK just by a point, just by 4.1, just by a decimal, just by a decimal. But my God, this film is just bad. It's just terrible. Oh my God, what were they thinking with this film? Like, I just hate it. Like, it's honestly a D for me. Like, I do not like this film at all. Like, it's the most forgettable experience that you've ever had. I know a lot of people really enjoyed the theater experience that they had with GSK. I'm not one of them. I did not like this movie at all when I saw it in theaters. Like, it was just terrible. Like, I did not like this movie at all when I saw it in theaters. It was probably my least favorite Godzilla movie at all. I hated it. I just fucking despised it. I just despised it. It was bad. It it was bad. Like, I just had the most, like, I had to kept quiet throughout the whole movie because I didn't want to say anything. I just kept quiet, and I was I was like I was just my eye was twitching. It was like twitching. It was like my eye was twitching. It was just like it was like twitching. I was twitching out the whole movie. I couldn't say a word because I didn't want to ruin it for my mom. I was twitching. I didn't want to say a word, and my God, I was. That movie was just terrible. I hated it. I hate it so much. Like, Trapper. I know a lot of people love Trapper, but you know what? I just think he's just Bernie 2.0. That's all he is. Just Bernie 2.0 with a different coat of paint. That's all Trapper is to me. Just a Bernie 2.0 with a different coat of paints. Like, he's just a comedy relief, just same as Bernie's, just 2.0. I don't care for him. Who cares? And I know a lot of people really love Chopper. I'm not one of them. Like, I could care less. And Dr. Andrews, I do like the mother and daughter relationship that Andrews and Jaya had in the movie. I do like that. I thought it was good. I did care for Andrews that I didn't mention for that part. I did care for Andrews a little bit. I did like the daughter relationship they had in the movie. And without God character, I did care for Team Kong. I just didn't care for the rest of the cast. Like Team Apex or Team Monarch or Team Godzilla. Like, I didn't care for them at all. But GSK is just the most forgettable movie theater experience. Like, monster scenes, yeah, they're cool, but I don't care if you're not gonna give me like a good human cast to get me through it, and it just feels like they're just spatting exposition after exposition. Like, they're just there for exposition. Like, that's all they're there for. Like that's all the human characters are doing throughout the entire movie. It's just spatting exposition after exposition. It just feels like I'm watching exposition with the human scenes. It just feels like filler when you get to the monster scenes. Like they're just there for filler. Like, hey guys, we're human characters. We're here. We're here in the movie. And then when you get to the monster scenes, it's just it feels good. And then wait a minute, where have I seen this before? Suko and Kong. Oh wait, this is God of War. We have now turned into God of War. We have turned into God of War. We have now turned into God of War. I'm not even joking. This is God of War. This is officially God of War. This is legit God of War. Like a lot of the scenes of Kong and Suko just feel like God of War. Like they steal it from God of War. Like it just feels like God of War. Like I'm watching God of War. Like no, like I'm playing God of War. Like I got the I got the controller and I'm playing God of War. Like, am I playing God of War? Or am I watching GSK? No, I could care less. I could care less about the Kong scenes in the movie. Like, they just feel like cutscenes in a video game. Even though the scenes have just got bad. And I know they did some motion capture for this movie, but oh my god, why couldn't they do motion capture for Godzilla? Oh, and speaking of Godzilla, Godzilla's just terrible. He looks ugly. He looks atrocious. But they go from the Doherty design to the evolved Godzilla design, and he looks terrible. He's the proportions are awful on the design. It's just terrible, and he's pink. Don't get me. Why is he pink? Okay, don't get me wrong. I love pink. I don't hate pink. I think it can work well on other characters. Like Natsu. I like Natsu. He has pink hair. I like Mitsuri. She has pink hair. I like Nezuko. She wears pink. I think pink can work well. Okay? I think pink can work well. It can work well depending on the situation, but on yeah, but I'm sorry. It does not work well on Godzilla. The only time it works well is when Kyu does it. When Kyu does it, it works well. But when Godzilla does it, it doesn't work well. And don't give me that Miragoji also had pink dorsal plates, and I like that design. But Miragoji's dorsal plates are purple in Godzilla 2000 and red violet in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. They are not pink, so don't give me that bullshit. I'm not going through that again. And I know he technically had pink dorsal plates, but they were technically glowing pink on the version Meltdown. So that technically doesn't count. So, eh. But my god, Godzilla Evolve is just. And it's not even the pink dorsal plates I have a problem with. It's just the proportions on the design that look wrong. Like, I know minus one design also had some weird proportions, but at least the design looked pretty cool. Like, I didn't mind that design. It was actually pretty cool. It was actually a pretty cool design. But this design has more proportions out of like its body. Looks like he's been hitting the gym and he didn't, and that he missed leg day. Fury looks like he missed leg day. Like he didn't work at all on his legs. Like he just missed leg day. Like his tail was pretty much shortened even more. Like oh my god, they need to stop showing his tail. Eventually, his tail is pretty much gonna look like a chihuahua by the next film. Like I could care less for this Godzilla design. It's my least favorite. And Skull King. Skull King is forgettable. Just he has one cool scene with Kong when in the Hall of, and after that he's forgettable. He's just there. He has one cool scene. That's about it. Then after that, he's just forgettable. He's just a movie villain who wants to take over the world. Great. We need a. Can you give me a reason why you want to take over the world? Why do you want to take over the world? Why is it you want to do that? We never get a reason. We don't get an answer. He just wants to take over the world. That's about it. I could care less. I could care less about what you want to do. No one cares. Scott King, you are forgettable. You are just a ha ha ha. I'm a villain. I'm a bad guy. I'm the bad guy, guys. Hi, I'm Scott King. I'm the bad guy. Like, I don't care. I don't care for you, Scott King. Like, you don't do much. We don't even know why he wants to take over the world. I guess the only reason why so he can cause another ice age, but we don't know his motives of why he wants to cause another ice age. I guess because Godzilla's up there. I guess that's a reason. I don't know. That's just a theory. I just don't know why he wants to conquer the world. Doesn't make any sense. So, eh. If we don't explain why he wants to conquer the world, like why? And also the monster fights in this movie don't really. They last for a few seconds. Like the wolves just fast for like 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Take up the beginning of the movie. Skilla vs Godzilla takes up what, a minute? Timon vs Godzilla only takes up like 30 seconds. Actually, I think less than that, but like 5 seconds of screen time. They barely do anything with Tiamat. Tiamat was done dirty in this movie, and so was Skilla, even though that's technically Abaddon. That's technically Abaddon. So, eh. Who cares? I don't. I honestly don't care. The monster fights were done poorly in this movie, mostly because they didn't use motion capture for Godzilla, and the Kong motion capture was done well, but they used two different. I could care less. They use motion capture for Skull King, but I could care less. I don't. Plain they use motion capture for Godzilla because when he runs, it just looks weird. For the next Godzilla movie, please get back TJ Storm to do the motion capture for Godzilla. Please do, because we really need the motion capture back for Godzilla. Like, we really need like TJ Storm to do some of the motion capture back for the Supernova. Like, we really need motion capture for Godzilla because he just looks so lifeless in this movie. Like, Godzilla just moves so slowly. Well, he moves fast. He moves so fast that he's pretty much lifeless. That the state of realism just pretty much gone through the roof. And they move so fast in this movie that it's pretty much like you're pressing the rewind button the entire movie. Like, I could care less. Yeah. And the human characters, I don't care much for. And the plot of this movie makes no sense. I don't even know what the plot of the movie is. Like, I could care. I don't know what the plot is. It's pretty much just a Godzilla Final Wars plot at this point. And I love Godzilla Final Wars, but I think Godzilla Final Wars had a better plot than GSK. Like, I could care less what happens in GSK. It's just a big nothing burger for me. Like, it's just nothing. I got nothing out of this movie. And it's probably the second weakest MonsterVerse project, and that's to GVK. I do think Square is probably better than the Square anime is probably better than the Wingard films, but that's not saying much. So yeah, I don't care. And now we talk about the future MonsterVerse projects. Um, I should probably mention there was also Gemstone shorts, which I do enjoy. I do like the Gemstone shorts. That was part of the AR era. I do like the Gemstone shorts. Those were pretty good. Dragon Bats I enjoyed, and Godzilla vs. Megalon I enjoyed. Those were really good Gemstone shorts. And pretty much can follows up the Heisei era, so I really enjoyed those ones. And then we got the Godzilla Fest shorts, so of 6 of them. 5 that are known continuity that followed the final Goji design, and then one that came out this year, which was pretty good. It was pretty much a mirror Goji in a burning Godzilla form. So yeah, I really enjoyed those ones. So yeah, and then we got Minus Zero and Supernova coming in a couple years, along with a Shin Godzilla 2 and a Southeast Asia project that we don't know much about. We don't know anything about. It could be an anime. It could be a movie. We don't know anything about this project. So it could be anything. I really enjoyed everything that the Monsterverse has. Half of what the Monsterverse has offered. The other half not so much. The way I care more for because at least some of the projects were pretty good. Like yeah, overall, I think this has been the weakest era weakest Godzilla era. Monsterverse is probably the weakest era. No, that's not true. I think the show era was probably weaker, but eh, it was alright. Like everything out of this era was pretty good. Like it was alright. But with that said, I'm going to turn off, and so it went on like an hour and 47-minute video. Sorry for that. I didn't expect it to be this long, so whoops. Yeah, this is a very long video. Uh, it's a very long review. I didn't expect it to be that long. All right, bye. Next time I do another Toku review, it'll probably be the Gamma Shower era. Gamma Shower. Probably be the Gamma Show era, which will probably come out this month. And I'll do the Heisei review, and and then I do the other 5 Gamma films in its own review. Yeah. Anyway, bye. I'm going to sign off, and remember, stay big, G fans.